Hello, everybody. My name is Alane Freund. I'm an international consultant on high sensitivity, and I'm jumping here on social media live today, and maybe you will see this as a recording later, to talk about two of the highly sensitive person's five to thrive. Without a doubt, the five to thrive are life-changing for highly sensitive people. I cannot encourage you strongly enough to embrace them and to go with it. So let me toss the five out, and then I'm going to tell you the two I'm talking about today because they directly relate to my programs called sensitivity circles. Sensitivity circles are online small circles, generally 4 to 8, sometimes more people, depending on who's facilitating and what the topic is. Everyone is together on the screen, and it's something, 70% of highly sensitive people are introverts, and it's something that we just like, I'm not sure I really want to do it, but because of the five to thrive, you must. These my sensitivity circles have a sustainable economy, as do all my master classes. So that means, in the old lingo, sliding scale. But the way it works is there are several different price points that you can pay. And if we all pay at our highest ability to pay, then we sustain our community so that people who are experiencing financial hardship can pay less and still make use of these programs that we're offering at Are You Highly Sensitive? So the highly sensitive person's five to thrive, giving people a chance to sign on here. The first one is to understand the trait that we have as highly sensitive people, to understand sensory processing sensitivity, and not only to understand it and know about it, but to actually believe it is real and to acknowledge that you have it. So you got to really look into the research. There's plenty of opportunities. The best and easiest and quickest way to identify, in my opinion, is to go watch my talk at Google, Alane Freund talk at Google, Understanding the Highly Sensitive Person. In about 20 minutes, I lay down the research, and you will know pretty much right away if this applies to you or not. And you can also go to hsperson.com and take the self-test if the talk at Google leaves you with some questions or curiosities about it. You can also go to my blog, alanefriend.com/blog, and look at the Are You Highly Sensitive blog, where I'm just free writing and extemporaneous writing about things that apply to highly sensitive people, just whatever's coming out of my mind. I've been a family therapist and working with families clinically for more than 3 decades, and have worked closely with highly sensitive people and with Elaine Aaron for more than a decade. Of course, I've been working closely with highly sensitive people for over 5 decades because I am one and I come from a family full of them. So the first one, know the trait is real, believe you have it, and really understand it. The second and third of the highly sensitive person five to thrive are reframe the past in light of the fact that you have the trait, especially reframing your childhood. And 3, heal from past trauma. We generally find that almost everyone who is highly sensitive has trauma in their past because we experience things as traumatic that people without the trait might not even experience as traumatic. They might just be bleeps on the timeline of their life, but for us, they might be trauma. So we must heal past trauma. That takes some professional work. Finally, number 4, not finally, because there are 5. Number 4 is to design a life compatible with being highly sensitive, or for parents with raising highly sensitive children, design a family life that's compatible with the child's sensitivity. And the 5th one is to be in community with other highly sensitive people. So today, for sensitivity circles, I'm talking about number 1 and number 5. Oh, number 1 and number 5. And I want to tell you that these don't actually have an order. They are all equally important in my mind. But in this talk, we're talking about number 1 and number 5. Why is community so important? Knowing others like you, especially when you are in some way unique, is something that creates much greater resilience. Now, if you have something that's different about you and you feel terminally unique, nobody ever really understands you. You're the only person in your community, the only person your family knows or that you know that is like you. That can be very debilitating and have a negative impact on your functioning in life. So this one's not unique. None of these things are actually particularly wild are out there. They, remember, what's good for highly sensitive people is good for all people. So everyone who can do these things around whatever their life story is going to thrive more. But I'm going to be really strong here. And I'm going to say they're life and death for highly sensitive people, because without a doubt, stress kills. And we need to take care of ourselves so that we're not living in too much stress. Okay, so why sensitivity circles? I created these programs because I wanted to be able to create a contained, facilitated environment for highly sensitive people to come and find others like them, sharing many aspects of their life with them, and to be facilitated and coached by someone who's very, very experienced at doing that. So as a psychotherapist, I've been leading groups and working with families, like I said, for many, many years, more than half my life. And because of that, I will hold space. I will hold your heart and mind with tender care in this community. So even though jumping on the screen, going into a group of new people might be the last thing you feel like doing some days as a highly sensitive person, like I said, especially you introverts, it might be extra hard for you. It's probably one of the most important things that you can do for yourself. So come, because we're going to really dig in each circle to how the trait impacts that unique population that the circle is geared toward. And we're going to also create that kind of community, that seeing and being seen. And everyone who's ever come to a sensitivity circle pretty much has written me a letter or an email or a note in the chat saying, wow, I feel so empowered and ennobled by being seen and sharing in this circle with others like me. So we have 3 sensitivity circles that pretty much happen every month, and then we have some that happen more periodically. And so I'm going to tell you what the themes of sensitivity circles are. See what you think, and you can always jump on my website, alanefriend.com/events, and check them out and find one that might work for you, or send me an email through the contact form and ask for one that would work for you. So one that's not happening right now, but I love doing, and usually this one goes weekly for 5 weeks, but sometimes it goes periodically as well, is highly sensitive professionals, or HSPs, at work. And that is, you can imagine if you're working with your sensitivity and it's impacting you in your work life, how great it would be to have just a sweet little group of other highly sensitive professionals to talk about tools and skills and ask questions. Well, every month we have the highly sensitive parents, or parenting sensitivity. The parents aren't necessarily all highly sensitive, though, since it runs in families, usually they are, most of them are. But we talk in that sensitivity circle about raising children who are highly sensitive and the challenges of it. And I mean, we'll have people there with a 6-month-old infant, a 3-year-old, an 8 or 9-year-old. That's a big time that, well, I'm telling you, every 2 years, there's a new big developmental issue with highly sensitive children that challenges parents. I'm going to say right up through early adulthood. And sometimes we have parents of teens and parents of tweens and parents of 7 to 9-year-olds and parents of toddlers and preschoolers. And even, like I said, sometimes a parent of an infant. And just the wild thing about this sensitivity circle is I'm just astounded by this. You might think these parents don't have anything in common. Wow, we all have so much in common, because what we need as highly sensitive people, and all the different ages of highly sensitive children need, it's pretty much the same. It just looks slightly different as they go through child development. So I love this circle. I love supporting parents, because the sensitive children of the world are the most important people. Because if we can impact their childhood and make it better than mine was, and probably better than yours was, we will change the world, because they will grow up without the shame, feeling ennobled and empowered. Okay, I'm going off on the parent one. Another one that I have, a highly sensitivity circle that I have, is highly sensitive women in the later years of life. It's called Wise Women in Wonder. And this meets almost every month on the first Sunday of the month. Occasionally a holiday will cause us to reschedule, but the first Sunday of the month, the wise women come on the computer, and we have a really deep, rich conversation. And in all sensitivity circles, whoever shows up makes the topic. I usually come with a small theme that we use for introductions, but after that, I just ask everyone, what are their questions? What are their issues? What are your concerns? What are your scenarios? We brainstorm the list, and then we break the time up and we talk about them. And of course, I'm sharing my experience, strength and hope, and my wisdom from all my years of clinical work and all the research and science, but we all share our experience, strength, and hope with each other. So Wise Women in Wonder, that's a very fun one. Another one that is relatively new is called Rainbow Canaries, and it's for LGBTQ plus highly sensitive people. That's a unique population. And we, as at HSQ, as my colleague Brian Torres, he leads that sensitivity circle with me, and he coined the idea of HSQ, highly sensitive queer. And HSQs are really needing to be leaders. We take that emotional leadership that all highly sensitive people have, but then you take it out and add on to it another layer of diversity and another kind of uniqueness. And someone said in the last Rainbow Canary Circle that they really loved being in a multi-generational LGBTQ plus community. And on top of that, everyone being highly sensitive. It was really such a beautiful conversation and discussion. And in that last circle, we talked about activism and what does it mean for a highly sensitive person to be an activist. And there are two other highly sensitivity circles that are offered periodically. So reach out to me if you're hankering for one. One is for highly sensitive people in relationships. That's hot on the topics right now because I'm recording this in February, and we just had our master class on highly sensitive people and love. The subtitle of that class was called HSPs in Love, Making Relationships Work When even a cave sounds good. Like you're not sure you even want to be in your relationship or in a relationship in the moment when you're overwhelmed, of course. So highly sensitive people trying to live in relationships, romantic and others, because we go deep with our relationships, but we also process and have such strong feelings that they come with challenges. Now, again, everybody has challenges with relationships. Highly sensitive people, we have extra challenges because we're so involved in our relationships. So highly sensitive people in relationships is a sensitivity circle. And finally, the other one that we have periodically is highly sensitive youth, or I call them sensitive youth. Sensitive youth during the pandemic needed to be on screens less, not more. But now they're going to school, teens, tweens, and young adults. They're getting to be, in person in more of their life. And so we're starting up the sensitive youth circles again. And I hope that those will become monthly soon. So listen, if a sensitivity circle sort of tickles your fancy and you believe me about the highly sensitive person's 5 to Thrive, that you need education on the trait, you need to be able to talk about it, wear that badge with pride. I always say, fly my freak flag high. And you want to really embrace the fact that this is your life and you want to live it fully. And the other 5 to Thrive, number 5, that you want to be in community. You believe, Elaine, Aaron, and myself, when we tell you that you need to be in community to thrive as a highly sensitive person with others like you. And I hear from HSPs all the time that they can't find that person, or those people. Where's my sensitivity circle in my life? And it can be hard to find them because many of us are kind of holding up. Me, I'd like to just go up top and sit in my barn, put my feet up on the fence and wait for you to find me. And it's not the most effective way to build my circle. So often people in our circles, if they want to, they share their email addresses and make friends with people who come and make contact between the circles. It's a beautiful thing. I would love to see you there. And the whole reason that I do sensitivity circles is to help highly sensitive people have community and thrive, and to be able to share and take your questions. Even every masterclass I teach, I do live Q&A. So when you have questions for me, bring them. I would love to answer them. Even if you have questions here about this recording, ask me. Often I make a YouTube video about questions that people ask me. I want to just share as much information as I can with the world. And your questions make my content so much better. So I love your questions. Please bring them on Instagram, bring them on YouTube, bring them on Facebook, and even better, come to some of my events and bring them there. So I hope that you will subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on Instagram or wherever you find my content, and all the more share it. If you know an HSP who needs community, share this video with them. Maybe they'll find just the right sensitivity circle for them. Thank you so much for listening in live, for those of you who are here, and for those of you seeing the recording later. I really appreciate you checking this out and being a part of the Are You Highly Sensitive community. This is Alane Freund, and I value you and support you, and I'm sending my open-hearted, deep love to you through the airwaves. Bye for now. Thank you so much for listening.